Hi guys, Brian here from the gas station. Just wanted to give you guys a quick overview or my impressions of the Fujifilm X20. I just picked this camera up recently, and I'm pretty excited about it and wanted to do, like I said, an overview. I will give you a little bit of backstory though. I was looking for a smaller camera to bring around with me, digital camera, and I had actually got on a great deal Fuji XF1, which is their Fuji's smaller sort of compact premium point and shoot type thing. What I found lacking in that was a viewfinder, and so that really kind of bothered me, and I really like having a viewfinder, and so I said, well, let me check out, and look into the Fuji, other Fuji offerings. I didn't want to spend the money on an XE one, and I also didn't want the size. So I went and looked at the X10, and I found a spectacular deal on the X10, got one of those. Went out, started shooting, really enjoyed the camera, very happy with the image quality and the such, but what I did find was somewhat of an issue for me was the lack of information in the viewfinder. I like to see a focus confirmation box, or I like to see the f-stop and shutter speed and stuff like that, and I really found that camera sort of wanting for that. Not to say it was a bad camera at all, it's a great camera, and in a lot of ways I think it's a much better value, but I really wanted the other information in the viewfinder, and the X20 does offer that. It gives you a little focus confirmation box, and it gives you shutter speed and aperture, and it tells you if you're using exposure compensation and that stuff, and it gives you that kind of feedback, which I'm really looking for in my cameras. So I ended up basically getting rid of those and getting the X20, and the X20 gives you all that stuff, and there is another difference is that there is the different sensor. It has the Fuji X-Trans sensor, which is their proprietary sensor, which gives you sort of randomized looking grain, I guess, film grain or image grain, and it's there's no AA filter and stuff like that. So and I really like that look from my X Pro 1, and I figured I'd get something similar in the X20. I'm not disappointed in the picture quality with this at all. I think the picture quality is great. But yeah, if you want to save a ton of money and you're not like a viewfinder kind of guy and you compose on the back of the camera, I highly recommend going for the X10. Save yourself a bunch of money. I personally really like using the viewfinder. It was a big kind of deal for me, so it was worth it for me to upgrade to the X20. If you're looking for even better image quality, you might want to go with the Sony RX100. But for me, obviously, like I said, I did all this just to get a good viewfinder. The RX100 does not have that, and I really wanted a good viewfinder. I also had actually a Nikon V1, which I was using mostly for video, but I was kind of unhappy with that camera. It was not as flexible as I was looking for, so that ended up going away too. So I replaced that with actually, believe it or not, a Canon EOS M, which I'm doing the video on right now, and that's actually turning out to be a great little camera, especially for the money. But anyway, I'll do a review on that later. In any case, back to the X20. Picture quality is great. They're actually, the little flash on here does a really fantastic job. As long as you're close enough, and you're not going to get that really blown out highlight flash look from this flash. Fuji does a great job with the TTL metering on the flash. I think it's kind of a nice little feature just to have there. I normally am not a flash guy, but every once in a while, it's nice to be able to throw it in there if you have it or need it. I also like having the exposure compensation dial on the top. That's huge for me. I really like that. I've added a soft release and a lens hood, and my lens hood is actually more of anything. It's a carrier for my filters. I don't use lens caps, so I put a UV filter on there just to protect the lens. Another feature I do like about the X20 are the custom settings. So you can set custom settings on here, and you can, you know, basically set up however you like it. I'm trying hard now to be doing a lot of black and white shooting and shooting JPEG, if nothing else, to try and get stuff right in camera. You know, so for me that's you know, something that's convenient, so I can have, you know, different modes and different presets that I like set up in the camera. I think that's a great thing. It does have a hot shoe, so you can put any Fuji flashes on there. I would recommend getting another battery if you're going to buy this camera. They're cheap, so just get a couple of them. They're not going to set you back a lot of money. The viewfinder is clear and very nice. It has diopter adjustment, so you can adjust your focal length. It has strap lugs for, you know, regular strap. I'm a pretty big guy and would look silly carrying this thing around on a regular strap. And this is literally a camera that I kind of just grab and I put it in the center console of my car and just go. And it's a really just, you know, comfortable little camera. It's small enough so I can hold on to it with just a couple fingers, and I don't feel like it's going to slip out of my hand at all. And it's just very easy to shoot. It's, you know, it's well balanced and it feels like a Fuji X camera, and I really like that. So I would, you know, again, if you have big hands, you know, it should work out okay. But you know, I just wanted, like I said, it's just a quick kind of get out and go kind of camera, and when I didn't feel like lugging around the X Pro 1 and stuff like that. So and it has, you know, the Q button on the back. For those of you who don't know, I'll show you what the Q button does. If you press the Q button, it's sort of a quick menu thing, and you can kind of just go around to each of the different menu items and set, you know, like all kinds of parameters, like dynamic range, and you can set your white balance and you know, the picture, you know, the resolution and size and ISO and all that stuff. There's a lot of buttons and dials and manual things you can do on this camera, and that's what I really like about the Fuji stuff. It's tactile, and you can play with it, and you can adjust things that you need to adjust at the moment. You don't have to dig through a million menus. So for me, this camera has worked out really well. Again, if you want to save some money, go with the X10 if you don't use a viewfinder. If you use the viewfinder, I would really, yeah, definitely spend the bucks on that. Other than that, picture quality wise, they're basically identical. There are some differences, but I don't think anything that you're going to go look at one picture and go, oh my goodness, that was, you know, obviously an X10 because it's not good enough. No, it's it's nothing like that. There's some minor differences. So this, again, you know, we're not pixel peeping too much on this camera. You know, the files are good. They're excellent. The JPEGs are fantastic. Again, that's primarily why I bought this, is so I can shoot JPEG and try and get it right in here. So, and then try and do less post-production and stuff in Lightroom, and spending tons of time doing that. So anyway, but that's about it. Again, my overview. I highly recommend it. Great camera, very pocketable, and I also highly recommend the X10. I do also recommend the XF1. It is a great little point-and-shoot camera. It's more limited in scope, but if you're looking for like those Fuji colors and stuff like that, the XF1 is a good camera, and they're going cheap too. So keep your eyes out for these cameras: Fuji XF1, X10, and this little guy here, the X20. And that's my impression. I like it. That's about it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, etc., etc. All right, take care, guys. Bye.